Welcome to the Becoming Confident podcast, journey to building healthy self-esteem, the place where I initiate raw conversations on topics I believe contributes to and is impacted by self-esteem and confidence. If you are on a journey or you're ready to start your journey to becoming confident and you feel alone in the process, then this podcast is for you. I am your host, Cleopatra Williams, and I can't wait to support you in becoming your most confident self. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. It is the world's largest online therapy platform service. See, I know how important it is when you're on your becoming confident journey to prioritize your mental health. Back in April 2022 is when I started BetterHelp. I was falling apart and I was ready to just give up. However, I knew that giving up wasn't an option. What I absolutely love about BetterHelp is that I was able to choose a woman of color and someone who was faith-based. Both super important to me. They found me a licensed therapist within 24 hours, and I've been rocking with her ever since. Now, did I mention that it's 100% online? Yeah, we love that, right? So, if you are ready to make your mental health a priority on your becoming confident journey, BetterHelp is giving you 15% off your first month when you sign up using my link that will be placed in the show notes, and you can just enter my code Cleopatra Williams, or you can just go ahead to betterhelp.com/Cleopatra Williams. I hope this helps you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Confident, Journey to Building Healthy Self-Esteem with me, Cleopatra. My intentions for this episode is to bring awareness to those that are on the journey that there's a possibility that this specific thing may happen to you. And if it shows up, you don't know what to do. So I'm going to talk about happiness anxiety and how it relates to low self-esteem. Now, happiness anxiety is a term that I recently became aware about, and my mind was blown because I was like, oh my gosh, this happened to me. So let's get started. Recently, I made a post about how happy I was to be going to this event. And I was saying how grateful I am in the caption and how much I've grown and how truly happy I was. And you can literally truly see the happiness that was radiating off of me in the video. And as I rewatched the video, I was thinking to myself, wow, how happy I am. But in the next second, literally split second, a slight feeling of fear came over me. And the fear was, wow, is this too good to be true? Or am I making people uncomfortable by finally being me and feeling good in my skin and being happy? I was feeling like a imposter in my own body because I was genuinely happy about becoming the woman I desire to be. It felt like this out of body experience because it was not normal, right? Because I've been a person that battled with self-esteem and depression and all of those things for years. And I've had happy moments where in the next instant is not so good. I'm sad again. So it just felt like this out of body experience to be genuinely happy about who I am as a person and learning to love me. So I feared that this joy was only going to be temporary. Like this thing don't quote unquote last long for someone like me, right? And so in the very next moment of me feeling that way, I had to quickly shock my mind back into reality. I had to tell myself wait, hold up. I do deserve to be happy. I am happy. Let me sit in that. I've worked hard this past year to achieve this one specific goal, in which was to learn to love myself, learn to be happy with who I am, and create the life that I want. And I'm doing that. So I deserve to feel these feelings. I deserve to be happy. And it feels amazing. So I had to shock my mind into that because the last thing I wanted was to get in my head and start backing down from what I feel called to do, start backing down from just me trying to be myself. That's the last thing that I want to do. So later on that night, I'm reading this book and it's called The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. And in the first chapter, he mentions a term called happiness anxiety. And to my surprise, as reading this, it was the very thing that I was experiencing earlier that day. And I never heard of this before, never heard of this before, that it was even such a thing. But clearly it was a thing because it was happening to me. So let me tell you what is happiness anxiety. Happiness anxiety is literally what it says. It's the anxiety you feel when you are happy. Things are going great in your life. You're experiencing this is a life is good moment, right? The stars are out here aligning. Everything is working out. Life is great. You are on the verge to success in whatever area you're trying to get successful in. You're getting everything you want. The very life you've been working so hard to achieve is happening. The very feeling of being secure in yourself, being joyful, those things are happening. And then boom, like with all that goodness, you feel this urge that this isn't right. You feel this sense of guilt. And it's crazy because it can start to take over you. And that's exactly what the book was stating. It says happiness anxiety is very common. Happiness can activate internal voices saying, I don't deserve this, or it will never last. Life is not like this. Or even he went as far as saying some people feel like, oh, I'm hurting my mother or father by being happier than they ever were. And I was experiencing this feeling too, or people will be envious and hate me, that I would annoy people because I'm happy. And the thing is, we deserve this. A lot of times we feel like happiness is only an illusion. And since nobody else is happy, why should we be? But it don't work that way. We deserve to be happy. You as a person deserve to be happy. I'm sure all of us, like I've had happy moments before in my life, but it was never like this. Like this type of happiness makes me want to cry. Like, oh my gosh, like I never felt this sense of joy in just myself and who I am in my entire life. And I haven't necessarily conquered all my self-esteem and confidence goals because like who has? There's always going to be things that's going to trigger you. There's always going to be things that's going to come for you. However, you can always be better. I know for a fact that I'm way better than I was when I started my journey back in April of last year. And I think I'm way better because now I got this feeling of finally feeling like I know my purpose in this world and seeing the possibility of what it can feel like to truly like myself and love myself and know who I am and be a light to this world and impact lives for the better. And so for me, the feeling of fear happening to me, it really made me panic. I didn't want to ruin the good feelings that I was having at all. And I don't want this to happen to you either, which is why I'm sharing this, because I want this episode to be like a preemptive strike before it even hits. Hopefully it never happens, but if it does, you know what to do while you're on your becoming confident journey. And as you start to embody your most confident self and being the person that you want to be and starting to feel all this happiness within you, there is a chance that this may happen if you haven't experienced it yet. However, what I don't want to happen is after hearing this episode that you're waiting for it to happen. I don't want you to wait for happiness anxiety to kick in, because if it doesn't, fabulous. Don't wait for something to happen, because when you're looking for something, guess what? You find it. So I don't want you to wait for this to happen. I just want to bring light to an experience that may happen to you. And if it does, you have some knowledge around it and what it is, and you can spot it. You can spot it. If you feel it coming up, you can become more self-aware, because self-aware is key when you're on this journey to become more aware of your physical sensations, your thoughts, and what's creeping in. So now you can understand why before you start to possibly self-sabotage yourself. And that's really what happiness anxiety leads to, is self-sabotage. And oftentimes people that struggle with low self-esteem, you don't believe that you're deserving of much. You don't believe that you're deserving of love. You don't believe that you're deserving of a lot of money, of great wealth, or pretty much anything that you can dream of. Or you may feel like it's just out of reach for you, just based off limited beliefs that we were brought up to have from family members, from friends, just from society in general. We can want it, but the feeling of wanting it and the feeling of deserving it is two completely different things. I am so excited to announce that I am a Queen Warrior Ambassador. This lifestyle program, led by Fabiana Ferrini, is all about helping women become a better version of themselves mentally and physically, and I absolutely love it. It has everything from fitness workouts, with Bar and Power being my absolute fave, to mindset coaching and nutrition plans. Ladies, you will not be disappointed. This program hosts live workouts, and they also have replays available for busy bees and moms like me that are on a tight schedule, and you can do it all in the comfort of your home. So, if you are on your journey to confidence and building healthy self-esteem, and fitness is a huge part of that for you, I was set up with a special link just for you. You will get a 7-day free trial to the Queen Warrior program. If you want to take full advantage of this offer, head over to the show notes where I will attach the link, and I hope to see you guys in there. So how can happiness anxiety play out if you are not aware of it? Well, like the book says, it can give birth to self-fulfilling prophecies. And here's how. Let's take me, for example. When I was feeling that anxiety of being happy in that moment, I mentioned how I was feeling like an imposter. I was scared that what if I don't keep up with this happiness? Because sadness might kick in soon. Will I look like a fraud? Because, quote unquote, like I said, these things don't last forever, because that's how it's always been for me. Now, if I would have let those thoughts stay in my mind and not try to fight it over and over, I could have allowed those thoughts to get the best of me and stop me from continuing, from sharing publicly my journey. Because what if it goes wrong? Like, I don't want to look like a fraud, but then that ends up stopping my progress and what I'm trying to do, which is help other people as well. So I could have easily said, like, okay, I need to back out from showing up too much. Let me come down a little bit. Let me not act so happy. Let me not do this. And then what happens is I start self-sabotaging. I start sabotaging the opportunities to help people, sabotaging opportunities for myself. And what happens is that once I start doing that and that plays out, and then I say, okay, yeah, this is exactly what was going to happen. It was too good to be true. So that's what happens. You create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Here's another example that I got from the book that he was explaining. Let's say you're in a new relationship that's going great. Have you ever said to yourself that this is too good to be true? Can someone really like me as much as they say they do? Why does he like me? This is weird. But yet it feels good to be liked as much as you do. It feels happy. You're happy. However, because of the thoughts starting to get to your head, you might start to say, okay, maybe I'm moving too fast. I need to slow down, and I need to not be so vulnerable with this person, be so open. I need to put my guard up a little bit, so that I don't get hurt. And so when this happens, you're not as open as you used to be, or you're not as vulnerable as you used to be when you first got together, which then causes the relationship to have issues, which causes distance, which leads to a self-fulfilling prophecy. And now you prove to yourself that, yes, again, this is too good to be true. And my thing is, like, why do we do this? Because we want to be happy. We all want to be happy. We want to feel happy with ourselves and with our lives. And this is why, like, I'm on a journey. This is why you are on a journey to becoming your best self, because high self-esteem is one of the best predictors, according to the book, to happiness. It's like we're afraid to be happy. And I think back, like, okay, could it be because a lot of us are told that good things come to an end. All good things come to an end. We have that societal message. Or could it be because of a cycle of the unstableness that happens when you're struggling with low self-esteem, the unstableness of constantly being happy, but then being sad the very next day. And because that happens over our lifetime, we just don't know what it feels like to just be happy and be okay and say, this is it. This is my life. Ooh, I have a happy life. We're good. Right? So we have to get in the habit of just accepting we're happy and let it be. Let it ride out. Like, let's not wait for something to go wrong. Let's not believe this is too good to be true or that we don't deserve it, because each one of us deserve it. Each one of us do. And the book even states to know that we are worthy of happiness is the essence of self-esteem. If we're afraid to be happy, then happiness gets scared away. And the book also states that we need to develop the courage to tolerate happiness without self-sabotage. Oh my gosh. Until such time as we lose the fear of it and realize that it will not destroy us. That is a whole word. Like, happiness is not going to destroy us. It does not need to disappear out of our life. And such perseverance is self-esteem building. We have to tolerate happiness without self-sabotage. We have to persevere through it. Persevere through that anxiety. Let's not self-sabotage ourselves, because that is just going to do nothing but build our self-esteem and is not going to destroy us. So I researched some ways that you can work through happiness anxiety if it happens. Number one will be practicing self-awareness. Self-awareness is key. It is important to develop the skill set of knowing when you are experiencing these feelings. Number two, get control of your mind. Meditate on affirmations as long as you need to, and practice feeling your statements. There are hours long of different affirmations on YouTube. You know, they have all types of apps that you can play all day, even when you go to bed. Number three, look for reasons to why you are deserving of this amount of happiness. And I can give you one right now. And that's because it is your birthright. It is your birthright to be happy. Okay. And write it down in a journal. Write it down, make it plain so you have something to look at every single day of why you deserve to be happy. Number four is fight through it. Prove to yourself that those old thoughts are wrong. They are not you. They are not going to hold you back. They are not who you are now. And whatever was happening before does not mean it's going to happen again. So fight through it. And number five is go to therapy or seek some type of counselor if you need to, because that's what they're here for, to help us work through certain things like this. Now, I want to give you some affirmations that you can say to yourself if this does happen to you. Number one, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be happy. Number two, being happy makes me better for the world around me. Being happy makes me better for the world around me. Number three, I worked hard to be happy. Happy deserves me too. I work hard to be happy. Happy deserves me too. Number four, I give permission to myself to be happy. I give permission to myself to be happy. Number five, the life I've always dreamed of is created by my choice to be joyful now. The life I've always dreamed of is created by my choice to be joyful now. Number six, joy is the essence of my being. Joy is the essence of my being. Number seven, I feel happy with myself as a person. I feel happy with myself as a person. Number eight, I am meant to live a happy life. I am meant to live a happy life. Number nine, my choice to be happy keeps me in perfect health. My choice to be happy keeps me in perfect health. Number 10, I choose happiness and happiness chooses me. I choose happiness and happiness chooses me. So those are my affirmations for you that you can practice saying to yourself every single day, or when you experience these type of feelings of being fearful of being happy. And as we continue to embark on this becoming confident journey, Happiness is going to come. I promise you. And when it comes, you can choose to embrace it or you can choose to scare it away. And I don't want you to scare it away because you deserve to be happy. We all deserve to be happy. I know that battling with self-esteem issues is a nightmare. And especially if you battle with it for years, then let me tell you, you really need to understand how happy, how deserving you are of happiness. And I hope now that knowing that this thing exists, that if it does happen to you and you experience this either now or in the future, you are now aware of it, of what it is. And now you can figure out what to do if it happens to you. So that is it for this episode. And I hope that it helps you. As a disclaimer, I hope with anything that has been shared in this episode, no one takes anything personally. Please be compassionate and know that being vulnerable is not easy. If you are on a becoming confident journey or you're ready to start your journey, always remember that this is a journey, not a race. I know that we all want to get to the finish line, but it takes time and dedication. And if you don't stop, you will get there. Cheers to becoming your most confident self. Thank you so much for listening to Becoming Confident, Journey to Building Healthy Self-Esteem podcast with me, your host, Cleopatra Williams. If you want to be the first to know of new episode releases, of new resources, and get some weekly dose of inspiration, subscribe to my weekly newsletter. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, both at __Cleopatra__. And shoot me a DM. I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. While you're at it, go ahead and follow Becoming Confidence page at Becoming Confident Journey on Instagram. And lastly, tell a friend, sister, cousin, mother, someone who you think can relate to the show. I'm leaving all information in the show notes. Kindly support the show by subscribing on any platform you listen to and also rate and review on Apple Podcasts. And that is all for this episode. Until next time, okay? Bye.